Welcome back. Now, our first author this morning is a true definition of rising from the ashes like a phoenix and turning trauma into a source of inspiration. Having survived a harrowing gang rape ordeal, author Palesa Brown pins her pain into a new book titled To My Rapists, I Thank You. Brown joins us in studio to unpack her book, which explores various themes, including resilience and forgiveness. Palesa, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live. I mean, the first thing that caught me about is the title of the book. I mean, talk to us about this and how you came up with this title.
Sure. Okay. The title, right? It's a very daring one.
It is, and you can't ignore it.
Well, to my rapists, I thank you. When we get to understand what rape means in terms of a metaphor, it means anything that has been done unto you without your consent. So when I look at my beautiful scars, here's the initial gang rape. I was gang raped by 7 men. And then I have scars of cancer, I have scars of rejection, I have scars of grief, I have scars of divorce, I have scars of car accidents. And I took all those scars and I said, I never asked for those things to happen to me. So, but despite or in spite of it all, I survived. Yeah. And hence you said like a phoenix. I then chose to turn pain into power. And this is the reason why you and I are here in conversation.
Having this conversation. I mean, so at what point did you decide, I'm going to stop wallowing in self-pity? Because it's so easy to wallow in self-pity because all these things are happening. What was for you the switch that said, no, I can't stay in this dark place for this long?
You know, there's a saying that says, allow yourself to go through the pain, but do not sit in it forever. Yeah. So I had a choice, being a depression survivor as well. I've seen what depression does to people. I've seen what it did to me at the time. And I actually had a choice whether I wanted to stay and grieve forever, or am I going to then pick up the pieces of my broken life and say, I am going to move forward. So I then said, I'm going to move forward because I chose life, given the fact that I was given a second chance to it.
Yeah. Talk to us about writing this book and penning it all down, all these, incidents in your life, divorce, cancer, rape, and putting it all in a book.
Sure. It was quite an emotional write, I must say, because now this is me. When somebody asks me, do you ever read your book? And I'm like, no. I've lived that life.
Yes.
I cannot see myself reading that book ever again.
Right.
So it took a whole lot of self-awareness. It took a whole lot of reflect, especially when it came to the rape issue, having to go back and trying to remember what actually transpired on that day of event. It took forever for me to actually pen it down because that is my life. There was a lot of emotions going through it. It took a lot of breakdown. It took a lot of prayers as well. Yeah, so it took a lot.
They say our brain, when we go through trauma, some of it we block, or our brain just chooses not to remember it. So did you find yourself in that space?
That's very true.
When you're trying to write the book and trying to remember all these details and putting them in the book, because it is a traumatic experience all over again.
Yeah, I normally use the word and I say my brain decides to fart.
Yeah.
So when I reach a certain space in my life that I don't want to remember, I just I don't know, my brain somehow, like you're saying, it blocks it. And then up until I am ready to then face those challenges, then I decide to pen down again. Yes.
What has been the most challenging aspect of sharing your story publicly?
Society and its expectations. I wasn't actually sure how society would receive me, given, what it does to us. Society is a very cruel space where people just conclude it is okay to draw judgment on a person's life without having to understand. Especially when we deal with the rape stigma, where you would then be told, what were you wearing, or be asked what were you wearing, where were you, why were you there at the time. So I think my biggest fear was rejection and how society would then receive me.
And how has it received you? Because you had a misconception, or you had expectations of how they would receive you, but how have they received you?
Well, I can basically say it's a 50-50.
Right.
Yeah, it's a 50-50, which balances. So positive and a bit, negative. But then I say, you know what, we then take negativity and then turn it into positivity. Then we soldier on.
What did writing this book teach you about yourself?
Nothing is impossible.
Right.
Yeah, I think it has taught me that whatever you put your mind to it, you are able to do it.
And what does it have for rape survivors or people who are just in that dark space? What does this book do for them?
I think this book teaches you that despite of whatever has happened to you, you are not defined. When you look at me, without me having to share my story with you, you would not know what I've been through. So it teaches people that, or especially survivors or people that are currently going through the situation, that it is okay to not be okay. But do not allow yourself not to be okay forever.
Yes.
Because you are awarded a second chance in life. And here I am.
Yeah.
We take it and we soldier on.
And what for you was, there are people, there's higher power, there's people believe in something. What for you got you out? What do you think it is that said, no man, Palesa, get out, get up? What is that source for you?
God. It is God. I remember when the initial rape took place, I had that moment with God. We all believe in something.
Yes.
So for me, that was God. And I pleaded with him at the time. And I said, if you save me from this, I will live for you, I will serve you, and I will serve your people. And this is what I've been doing. And I feel that he did come through for me. And hence I said, you know what, I have a mandate here on earth. I've got a purpose. And my purpose is to heal people through my story and my journey.
And how far is your process of healing?
Well, healing is a continuous journey. You'll tell yourself that you've healed until you come across triggers.
Right, that's true.
Like for me, I cannot do public transportation because I was abducted for 3 days, released the 4th day when the initial rape happened. So ever since that time, I don't do public transport. So there are triggers in life, like me having to meet last year, I met one of the perpetrators. I did not know that they were out. And it took me back. So hence we say healing is a continuous journey.
Yeah.
You'll never know up until something happens.
It triggers you. Palesa, such an inspiration. Thank you so much for waking up for us this morning. Good luck with the book going forward. Palesa Brown is our author this morning, an inspirational book. She was taking us through her book titled To My Rapists, I Thank You, and explores themes of resilience, forgiveness, and finding purpose through adversity.